Ladies and gents, welcome back to the Secret Shaka. It's just me on my own watching Jiri Prochazka versus Jamal Hill. I'm in the studio. Obviously, this fight's already happened this weekend. I was looking at the cards and I thought, what's the most interesting, electrifying fight that we can watch that happened at UFC at the weekend? So I'm rewatching Jiri Prochazka versus Jamal Hill. I kind of had to watch it in bits on Sunday morning, getting out of the hospital for other reasons that I won't go into. But yeah, so here we are, live on my own. I'll try and fill some dead air and talk about this fight a little bit. So first thing to obviously mention, Islam Makhachev versus Renato Moicano. I think we all kind of saw that it was going to go that way. It was nice to see that Moicano did well in the striking. Obviously, I feel like if it was a kickboxing match, Moicano would have at least had some advantage there. It was obviously Makhachev's still very competitive in stand-up, but I think Moicano's striking is a bit better. However, obviously those Dagestanis, it's very, very, very hard to deal with their wrestling. And, you know, on paper, it was the champion versus another 13 ranked fighter, so what do we expect? So here we are. Yeah, Jiri Prochazka. Bruce Buffer's just doing the announcements, just I'm just talking over it. So, and you know, I watched Umar versus Merab, and I watched the first two rounds, and I thought Umar's got this. This is going to be another Dagestani takeover. But Merab, what a fucking animal to come back there and get the win in those last three rounds. Like, he literally toyed with him by the end of it, as he always does. It was a bit mind blowing, to be honest. So, yeah. Fair fucks to Merab because that was some showing. So I'll do the timer countdown so we can get going with this fight. So round one is about to begin on Jiri Prochazka versus Jamal Hill. Here we are, both facing off. And again, sometimes it's nice to rewatch these fights because you get so caught up in the excitement. You can't quite, obviously it's very hard to judge anyway, but you can't quite judge it because you might have a favourite fighter, pick a favourite fighter, have somebody that you want to watch. Right, touch gloves. There we are. So round one, 52 seconds, 4:51, 4:50, 4:49. Sorry about that fucking very large fan outside. I'm in the studio at the minute. So round one between these two, obviously Jiri opening up with the front kicks and Jamal Hill just pawing. The good thing about the light heavyweight division, I think, is that the guys are big enough to knock each other out with one shot, but are more athletic than heavyweights. So you get to see a fair bit of action because there's a lot more movement usually than heavyweights, except for people like John Jones and freaks, people like Tom Aspinall and stuff. But a lot of heavyweight fighters, if they can go 3 rounds, 5 rounds, could be quite dull. But whereas light heavyweight, that tends not to happen. So here we are. So so there we are, 1 minute in, and here he's caught Jamal quite flushly, and with that left hand that he actually, you know, gets him with at the very end. There, hands down. He was talking in the pre-fight saying he was going to try and fight a bit better with his hands up, and he does do that a bit better in this fight, but he still puts his hands down. Rogan made a point on the commentary about actually having your hands down means that punches come from really weird, unexpected angles, and that can be an advantage, but obviously it leaves your chin open to getting clocked. Like, he just got clocked off Jamal there. Jamal actually did a really good job, I think, of going for the clinch and throwing the knees to the head as well. He must have noticed that in training, or perhaps watching tape on Jiri Prochazka, but grabbing the head and pulling him down and going for a knee is something that he's always done very well. So, not something that he's always done very well, I'm talking shit. It was a good tactical move in this fight to go for, and he does have success with it, but I've not seen him do it a lot in the past, so he's maybe not had a chance to do it a lot in the past. You know, we're just knocking people out or getting knocked out by Alex Pereira. The thing with this fight is both guys have been obviously KO'd by Alex, so it's like number 2 and number 3 perhaps in the light heavyweight division. Obviously, if Pereira gets past Ankalaev, which is going to be his next fight, then what do you give Prochazka another fight with Alex Pereira? I don't really know what you do, but we'll see, I guess. So 2 minutes into the first round, sorry, and it's already looking like a contest. When I was watching this live, I didn't think it would go all 3 rounds, but here we are. I was surprised it got to to the third round, which is obviously ultimately when it ended. But, Jamal's no joke. He's not easy to put away. Not everybody's Alex Pereira. Oh, shit. 2.5 minutes in. Prochazka dropped him. I forgot that happened. Again, a nice left hook. Jamal Hill does a really good job of almost going to like backside crab ride there, like heel hook position, but uses it obviously to get up, and he could have almost taken Prochazka's back if he wasn't so savvy and get straight up. So, but you've got to think here Prochazka is like on the hunt. Oh, another nice straight left from Prochazka there. And again, Jamal going for that tie clinch, but Prochazka seemed quite comfortable there and actually traded some shots within the tie clinch. So, knee to the face. If you're listening on Spotify, then I don't know how fun this is going to be, but thank you for checking it out anyway. Prochazka hands down again, using his head to bob and weave and avoid shots, but still peppering. High kick, missed. Oh, followed up with a back fist, which was like a rabbit punch basically, but it's and another 1-2 from Prochazka. Watching this back and then a knee to the face after Jamal initiated that clinch. That's very interesting. Immediately in the fight, he started making adjustments in the fucking first 4 minutes of the first round. Took a jab from Jamal. Jamal hits hard, you know what I mean? It's very hard to constantly take those jabs, but he does a good job of it. Jamal hitting him, and he's hitting him clean, but Prochazka, I dare say, has got the volume on his side and also the crispness. So he's hitting him with sharper punches. I thought this was more competitive. I forgot about the knockdown in round one, but we're almost 30 seconds away from the end of the first round. You give this round to Prochazka, definitely, if it was to go to the judges' scorecards. But here we are. It didn't, obviously. So, let's go. Whoa. Jamal firing back really, really well there. Body kick. And a nice shot from Prochazka just before the bell. He's like beat his nose up quite badly there, which could lead to Jamal having to breathe out of his nose, which labours recovery. His nose is bleeding quite heavily in between rounds there. Whether there's a cut on the bridge of his nose, so it could be that. Obviously, that's obviously bad, but it's worse if it's like inside your nose and then you're bleeding throughout your nose, because that becomes blocked. It becomes harder to breathe out of there and takes longer to recover in between rounds. So, I do wonder if that affected him. There is some blood coming out of his nostrils, so that must have been rough. And a mouse under his left eye from those heavy hits from Prochazka. The knockdown, it was a similar setup to the knockout at the end of the fight. It was just a flush left hook to the chin. Really, really nice. Bump. Ducks under. And manages to get in as Jamal's throwing like a looping right hand. Just shows them straight punches much more effective than big looping punches for all you strikers out there or wannabe MMA fighters. Here we go. Round 2. Oh no, there's a pause in the middle. Are you ready? Let's go. Right, 459, 458, 457, 456. There we are, round 2 of Prochazka versus Hill. And again, both guys kind of pawing at each other. That John Jones almost like open hand. Yeah, first round definitely for Jiri Prochazka. Lots of both. Yeah, I mean Pereira does it as well. Pawing that hand down. You can use it to set up strikes, but I'm not overly keen on it because it does lead to eye pokes, as we see in a bit later in this fight. So nice front kicks from Prochazka. Jiri firing the back as well, but they will pay dividends and keep him distanced. So for those of you just joining us, I'm 4 minutes 30 into round 2 of Jiri Prochazka versus Jamal Hill. Jamal putting the pressure on. Oof. Jiri goes for like a flying knee and takes a hit on the way down. Jamal looks better than this round. Now that Jiri's giving him some space, and Jamal's actually being able to get off a little bit. Eye poke. There we are, that's no good. Which actually is not as good for Prochazka because it's now giving Jamal even more time to recover. So yeah, 18 seconds, 19 seconds into the eye poke break for round 2 for Prochazka versus Jamal Hill. So yeah, so this is a bit of a nightmare for Jiri because you've got the momentum on your side and you want to continue beating up Jamal Hill, but he's poked him in the eye and give him an extra 30 seconds to recover there. There we are, touch gloves, and 3 minutes 44, we're back in round 2. Both guys feeling each other out. Jiri throwing lots of kicks, again, body kick, front snapping kick. Jamal reaching for that knee again, kind of reached for the back of the head and through the knee anyway. He must, like I said before, he must have seen on tape that Prochazka dips his head down. So, oof, nice looping left hook from Jamal Hill, which caught Jiri with his weird head movement, which has paid dividends up until now, until he got caught with that. Nice, big uppercut from Jamal. Here he kind of like, when he takes a good shot, like bows his head and starts moving it forward, like come on, I want more, but that's not a good thing. It's when anybody reacts from a big shot with like a smile or some kind of like intense facial expression or eye poke. Again, this time Hill eye poke Prochazka, which happens when they're both pawing each other. My point was, yeah, so anytime a fighter kind of smiles or points or acknowledges that there's been a hit, it's like a tell that it was a bigger hit than perhaps you might have thought, and it can almost lead your opponent to think, fucking hell, I've hurt him here, and I've hurt him more than I perhaps thought I did, so I'm really going to put the pressure on. So again, any of you MMA fighters out there, you want some tips, then don't give it away any tells. Don't smile at your opponent when he cracks you. Just bite down on your mouthpiece and keep going, because that means that they know that it's go time, that they've really hurt you. So that's my advice anyway. I'm a fucking shocking striker, right? Like, I had all sorts of tells in the very short time that I did some Muay Thai. I was chatting to the lads about it the other day, but I won't do any examples here because I don't want to embarrass myself. 55 seconds, 56, 57, 58, 59, 1 minute. This is on the timeout. So again, Prochazka's beating up Jamal Hill. I'm not saying that this was the case at all, but obviously by eye poking him, Prochazka's got to recover his eye. Yes, he's getting a recovery as well, but Jamal Hill is now recovering too. So, which you kind of don't want. You want to be able to keep that pressure on, because that's ultimately what got him to the finish at the end. Doctors are back out. I mean, you have 5 minutes, so the doctor's coming out and having a look at him. Like, I get it, it's procedure, but he's fine. His eyes were open. He can see. And even if he hadn't, he's got another fucking 3.5 minutes to let it recover anyway. So, chill out, doctors, with your pink laminates. It's all good. It's all good. Anyway, yeah, 1 minute 52. So you have a 2 minute break, slap bang in the middle of the round to recover. Doctor's checking his eyes. Yeah, he's fine. You can see, yeah. Big Oss, well done, Jiri. He could lose both his eyes and he'd still keep fighting, to be fair though, so you can't always trust what the fighters are going to say when the doctors come in and say, can you see? Because they just want to keep fighting. There we are. So, timeout done. 2 minutes 38 on the clock. 36, 35, 34. Leg kick attempt from Prochazka. Wheel kick attempt from Prochazka, which again, he might not land many of them, but it doesn't have to keep you guessing. It's going to keep Jamal Hill guessing on what's going on. So, okay, head kick, but leaves a bit of space open for Jamal to counter there. Nice left hook from Prochazka. I keep calling him Jiri. I know it's probably Hiri, but I'm too tired to pronounce things properly at the minute. Let's go. Oh, nice right cross from Prochazka. In these mad scrambles, Prochazka seems to do a better job of catching Jamal. It's one of them where like any punch could knock the other one out, but Hill seems to miss because he's looping his punches, whereas Prochazka seems to do a lot better. So, there we are. Oof. Hill with a nice left hook, right hand combination. Prochazka fainting. Hill putting the pressure on, coming back, short punches, grab the back of the head there, and almost like a Thai plum clinch situation. Body shot from Prochazka. Yeah, Jiri could be a little bit tired here, but you know he trains very hard. I'm sure he's managed his cardio efficiently. It's different when you're in there, as I'm sure Harry and George will tell you, but here we are. Jab and a miss from Jamal Hill. Head kick attempt from Prochazka. Hill's done a good job of when Prochazka tries to like chain together 2 or 3 kicks, which he does effectively. Hill, after the first one, stops reacting and just kind of marches forward, closes a bit of distance and throws some punches. Not all of them land, but it's an effective way to stop those kicks being as effective. Said effective a lot there, apologies. Leg kick from Hill to keep him guessing. Both guys miss. 24, 23, 22. Nice body kick from Hill there. Body shot from Hill too. They'll pay dividends, especially if he thinks he's tiring. Oof. Again, left from Prochazka, and that tie clinch and a knee from Hill. Prochazka reacted, saying, come on, bring it on, which means it hurt him. 1 second left, and that's the end of round 2. Let's go. So, like, less damage on Hill's face there. The cornermen have done a really good job of cleaning him up after round 1. But, yeah. His nose isn't bleeding as badly, which is a good sign. It could have clogged up, but he could also be breathing out a bit fine. He's still got that mouse under his left eye, which is going to get worse as the fight goes on. But yeah, props to the cornerman in that first round, because they really cleaned up his face. And he didn't catch as many shots there, I don't think. Nice overhand right from Jamal Hill. Again, when I was talking about looping punches not being as good as ones that are faster and come in, it doesn't mean they're not effective. It doesn't mean you can't catch people. There's a time and a place for them, but Jamal, it seems to be like all he throws is those big looping shots, which again, if you time them correctly, awesome, but if it's all you throw, it's not very easy. It's quite easy to time, duck under, and to counter, or to slip out the way of. So, as we saw in round 3 of this fight. So here we go. Let's go. Glove touch, 458, 457, bit of a cuddle. Round 3, 455, there we go. What do you think about when people kind of like cuddle it in the middle of a fight? I'm not that keen. I think they need to save all that for the end, but I'm not an MMA fighter, so I wouldn't know. Like, pay your respects, defos, but could call out one each. I think the first round was more dominant than for Prochazka, and the second round was for Hill, but you could give that second round to Hill. I wouldn't be upset about that. You could probably check on the Athletic Commission website if you really cared, if you wanted to, or Google it. So let's see how Prochazka managed to set this up. So body kick, and he's doing a really good job. Oh, so that combo is what he caught him with. He's absolutely pouring it on Jamal here. 1 minute into the third round. In this chaos, yeah. I was just mimicking what Joe Rogan said there. I said it first. Nice uppercut from Jamal. He does well in close, but Prochazka seems to manage to pour it on much more in those chaotic situations. Again, the difference is when you do that with an Alex Pereira is he hits you and you get caught, because he's also not afraid of a fight. So. Nice left hook by Prochazka to close the distance. This is such a good fight. Quite high level. Well, quite high level. Upper echelons of the UFC. Very high level. But again, the opening of that flurry where he really punished Jamal Hill and got the better of him looked like the same combo that he knocks him out with. sure it's like a left hook, straight right sort of combo underneath one of Hill's looping shots. Let's see. Ending your combination with a front kick is amazing. Yeah, that left hand's like a shovel hook almost. Comes from down the bottom and up, which is, again, not very traditional fighting, but it worked for Prochazka. He's built a career out of it, so good on him. Ooh, nice tie clinch, knee to the body from Jamal. That could have really hurt him. It looks like he needed to take a breath there. Oof. And there it is. So he ducks under the shot, left hook, right straight. He's on top of him. Peppering shots, absolutely fucking beating him down. Close to the end here. Jamal's up. He's on wobbly street. He's throwing those knees. Left hook, right, bam, uppercut, throws him on the floor like a ragdoll. Ground and pound. What a fucking animal. And that's it. That's it. And there was obviously no protest from Hill. He knew it was over. His walk, I don't know if you saw the clip of it, but Jamal Hill's walk back to backstage from the octagon, like, he just drops to his knees a few times. He's absolutely gutted. And his post on Instagram afterwards, Jamal Hill took a lot of shit for his denying that, saying that Alex Pereira cheated and stuff like that, and that he was getting the better of him, and that's not how the fight would have went if he hadn't cheated. But he was very, very humble in his defeat to Jiri Prochazka, and probably raised his stock a fair bit with a lot of people who thought he was just going to talk shit again, saying, like, I don't know what you could say to that stoppage, but yeah, hell of a stoppage there from Jiri Prochazka. What a guy, what a legend. A very, very hard problem to solve, Jiri Prochazka. It'd be nice to see him get the winner of Ankalaev versus Pereira, which in my book is Pereira every day. Yeah, so Jamal throws right hook, and then a right hand. Jamal throws a looping, like, overhand right, which Jiri times perfectly, catches him with a left straight, and then follows up with an amazing right straight to the jaw, which he's been throwing a lot. Gets a big right hook to follow it up there, and that's it. He's out. Woo! So that was that fight. I loved it. I thought it was very good. It's probably my favourite fight on the card. There's obviously loads to go over the entire card, but it's just me on my own. I'm not going to bore you to death with all that. Wait for the boys to come back in and we'll talk about whatever fight's happening next. I'm hoping to go live UK time for the Israel Adesanya fight that's coming up in Saudi Arabia. I think the main card starts at 5 p.m, so we'll do that in the studio. We'll be back in the studio next week to cover whatever's happened this weekend as well in the fight world. So thanks very much for checking out the episode. If you want to buy some of our stuff, head to www.reefjujitsu.com. This is the Secret Shaka. Big us. Take care.